If you want to listen to this episode or any of our episodes ad-free, you can do that now. Head on over to Patreon. Click on the ad-free level. You get all of our bonus shows that you've been hearing so much about. Plus, every single day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, you can listen to this episode or any of our other episodes at the same time, ad-free, over on Patreon. Well, everyone seems to be talking about this reunion that we just had for Salt Lake. Yeah, it was crazy. Wanted to share this chat we had with Lisa Barlow. It's only a year ago. I mean, A, look at how much has changed in the past year. B, do we think Lisa has changed? I love looking back, especially when it's a first-year housewife, because it's just so interesting. This was about a year ago. It was right in the middle of Lisa's first season, all of their first seasons, but Lisa's first season. And I just think it's so interesting. Has Lisa changed? Is it the same Lisa as Lisa? Which really makes her authentic if you think she's the same. But listen, I don't want to share my thoughts on Lisa because really it's not about me. I want to hear what all of you guys have to say. And I hope you enjoy this chat. Let me know what you think. This is a 1 year ago chat with Lisa before any of this stuff happened with Jen Shah. We love sharing these old classics, some of my favorites that get lost on the feed. Here you go, a chat with Miss Lisa Barlow. Hey everyone, this is David. Welcome back behind the velvet rope. Let's just get right into it today because we are joined by the one and only Miss Lisa Barlow. How are you?
Good. Oh my gosh, busy though. It's the holidays. There's so much going on from a work perspective. It's just a lot right now.
You've got a lot going on. And as we said before, I told you didn't have to do glam, but you said to me that you do glam every day.
Every day. I've been doing it for years, though. It's not new for the show. I've literally had makeup done like since I was 24 years old. Almost like weekly, at least 2 times.
Even like in the height of COVID, like just staying in, like you're just like, I don't care.
During COVID, I was very natural.
That's okay.
At home self-tanners. I actually think I'm great at doing other people's makeup. When it comes to my own, I prefer to have someone else do it.
I get it. I think if I wore makeup, I would do the same. I don't know. I just don't think I'd be able to do my own makeup. That's just me. So that's good though. But so you've been busy. What is going on? How is Salt Lake doing? Like what's going on there?
It's amazing. I love that I live here. You know, I'm always a New Yorker at heart. My mom's there. My grandmother's there. So much of my family's there. I grew up there. So that's always home at heart. But when it comes down to it, I'm never leaving Salt Lake. I've moved here, left, and I keep coming back. So I'm like addicted. It's addictive.
Did you grow up, upstate New York?
Yeah, the Capital District. And then as I was older, you know, like when I was on my own, we lived in Midtown for a bit.
Did you love living in New York City?
You know what? I wanted to be in the city so bad as a kid. Like I felt like I should have been a city kid. And with my girlfriends, you know, we'd always go into the city. I feel like it's like a second home to me. But I did not grow up in the city. Everyone wants to think I did, but I didn't. Sorry. I grew up with lots of land. We had horses.
Well, it's just a compliment because you're glamorous and people associate glamour and glam with New York City, I guess.
Thank you. My mom has the best style. Like I have 4 sisters and a brother, and my mother just loves fashion. She's literally every Friday growing up, she was like, let's go buy stuff. And like she loved like making sure we all have such different styles, me and my sisters. My one sister actually designed like a beautiful line of dresses that are all made in Colombia that are like fabulous for yachting and vacationing. But we all have like a really street chic kind of style, and we get that from our mom. My dad's too. My dad's cute.
You say, you were into fashion growing up? Like you were just always into fashion?
You know what? I can tell you every single year from Chanel. Like as a child, like I would just look through Vogue magazines, Mademoiselle, like everything that was like my Bible growing up, and just like study fashion. Like I fixated on certain pieces. Chanel has a collection out now that's a remake of something that I was obsessed with in 1988. And I was like, no, get me the original. I don't want the remake. But I love the decadence of it all. I love like simple, cheap stuff.
What are some of your favorite, like, is Chanel your favorite brand? Like, what are your favorite brands?
Oh my gosh, I have so many favorite brands. So I love, Chanel is timeless and classic. Who doesn't love a Chanel tweed blazer? And, always have a lot of Chanel handbags. I love Hermes. That's an ever-growing collection.
Yes.
I love Saint Laurent because it's like edgy, but still like so feminine. But it's like, I'm a type A personality, so I feel like it's a good balance between my femininity and that like really bold side of me. And then there's some emerging brands that I'm obsessed with. There's one OUD that I'm obsessed with right now. And just like finding great pieces, like I like to touch. So I like to find things that are tactile, have, like a play off of fabrics, like tweeds with leathers. I like mixing it up a little bit, but still looking simple.
So you like touching artwork and you like touching fashions.
Like, look, I love this. This painting behind me is absolutely amazing. It's done by an artist in LA, and it has a lot of texture, which is why I like to touch. So I love Swarovski crystal. We're doing so much with Swarovski in our new Vida bottle. And this painting is actually covered with little mini micro Swarovski crystals. So for me, I like to touch. Like if it's going to be in my house, I like to touch. Actually, it was so funny. Yesterday, Henry was pressing the glass on our staircase, and I'm like, stop touching. And he goes, what? You like to touch? I'm like, oh my God. I'm not going to win with this. Yeah. I had to move my desk a little bit there. It's like off.
You look fine to me. And we're going to get into Vida Tequila. So you moved really to that area for school, right? For Brigham Young?
Yeah. So I came out here to go to school. I've actually gone to like 4 colleges. BYU happens to be one of them. And for me, it was coming out here to go to school, and I have, I'm one of 6 kids, and we're in 8 years. So I had an older sister that had just finished a year of school, my brother who was at school, and then they both left on missions for the LDS church. And then I was at school, and then next my younger sister Denise ended up there. I mean, my parents had like 4 to 5 kids in college all at the same time. So It's crazy. But we came out here to go to school. We all love it.
Wow. And where did you meet your husband, John?
Oh my gosh. So John served an LDS mission with my sister Gina. They both spoke French. So they both thought, oh, we're going to get called to France. They got called to Las Vegas. And
oh my God.
Gina became really good friends with John and thought he was so amazing. We heard about him she went on a 1.5-year mission. He was out for 2 years. And then when we were all at school, I moved back to New York and then came back. I love going home. And, they're both our home right now, but I love going back to New York. Moved back out, and my sister's like, oh my gosh, you have to meet this guy, John Barlow. He's so amazing. I wanted nothing to do with him. I ended up moving to New York, to Chicago, back to New York, and then back to Utah. We followed like the same path and ended up in the same cities, but never would run into each other. And it took my younger sister finding John in Park City for me to like hang out with him. And like, we literally went on a Bees game. We went to a Bees game, a local like baseball team. And I thought he was just my friend. It was platonic. And then we ended up crushing on each other.
Wow. What do you think of, like, I don't know if you keep up with all the Bravo blogs now that you're in this world, but what do you think about, I mean, he's getting like one of the hotter house husbands of Salt Lake talk, like,
Yeah. So, I have not seen that, but I'm sure he will love that. And, John played semi-pro volleyball. So he looks great with a shirt on, amazing with a shirt off. Like John Barlow should never have a shirt on.
Well, you've already filmed this season. Maybe next season you could make sure he's in some scenes with no shirt on.
I know. I was like, why do I keep getting asked to wear my bikini? Put John in a bathing suit. Come on.
You'll have to set up. But, it's just so cold there, or at least when you filmed it was. So.
Yeah. And what's funny about my husband? He actually wears shorts year round. Like you're going to see some scenes. Like I actually think our opening scene, I'm like, I have no makeup on. my kids have bad breath and bad hair, and John's in shorts. So I'm like,
oh my God, I love it. I have friends like that are always in shorts, and I'm like, I don't get it because I'm always cold.
same. I'm with you. Same.
Did you watch like any Housewives? Like, you don't have to. Like, were you like a reality TV person before this?
You know what? I really enjoyed one of the first franchises I watched on Real Housewives was Miami. I love Miami. I think growing up in New York, I have this like fascination and love of Miami. My grandfather lived in Florida. We would go visit him when I was a kid, and it was just like, it's like New York South basically.
Mm-hmm.
And so I loved Miami. I love that everyone was like over the top. So I think I kind of like that franchise, but I definitely love Beverly Hills in New York. And ironically, the year we launched Vida Tequila, Bethenny Frankel was there with People.com covering the Sundance Film Festival. We love Bethenny. I literally had so much fun with her for 10 days. I'm pretty sure she drank a lot of Vida. She does love tequila, and her Skinnygirl's done amazing. But, I think, yeah.
I was going to ask you about that. So when was this like Bethenny, like when was this? Like, cause I've seen some clips
2007, January of 2007. So we're going on like 13 years now. It's been a long time.
This was before Skinnygirl or any of that.
Skinnygirl, she had Bethenny Bakes, and I actually had chef coats made, and we sent her a chef coat and tequila. And, when I would be in New York, sometimes I would run into Bethenny. We never hung out, but I always thought she was such a cool person. And then when she went on Housewives, I'm like, this is so appropriate, and it's so weird when you watch like those early episodes. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like night and day compared to how it was. But I think I got addicted to New York because of Bethenny. And I think there's some fun characters on that show. Like my friends that live in Miami, the Liebermans, they actually have an amazing rum called Moss, and they own the South Beach Hotel Group. When I was at their wedding, Ramona Singer was there and Luann. So this is like a long time ago.
Anything interesting happened with Ramona and Luann at the wedding? Anything you observed?
Ramona saved me because I was at the wedding and my dress got stuck in a chair. And Ramona's like, don't move, don't move. And it was a strapless, beautiful floral dress. It literally would have come off if I like sat up the wrong way. So Ramona saved my dress. But, at the time I was like, let's just have fun. We're at a wedding. And they both were beautiful. I think Luann is so pretty in person. Like I love how thin and long and lean she is. And I think, Ramona's just your typical like awesome New York woman. Like I thought they were super nice.
Well, some people have not had such great experiences with Ramona. And here you were like, you were a stranger, you weren't on TV, and you had a good experience with Ramona. She was looking out for you.
She saved my dress.
Well, that's wow. What about Bethenny? Like way back when? Like anything fun happened when she was there?
Oh my gosh, Bethenny was so fun. Like we have so many pictures with her. She was just like the best hostess. I mean, she was there hosting a dinner series, and then we would go upstairs, and we had bought out the balcony, so we were entertaining so many of our distributors and partners. So it was awesome. And I mean, she's just fun. Like she literally, I'll never forget her saying this when People.com, they sent her out there to cover it. She's like, I didn't know they were going to even air any of it. And they like gave her this whole great segment. She did amazing. And I mean, it's all A-list, all like beautiful chefs, beautiful people, a lot of fun. And she killed it. She was meant to be doing what she's doing. 100%. Could
you tell like she was like a hard worker back then, like type A, like you? I
appreciate that because I am too. Like we like to hustle. Like I am, it would be so nice to just sit around and look pretty all day, but I work really hard too. You're going to see soon how hard I work, and I like it.
Do you think that's like a misconception of you just because you are into fashion and glam and like, do you think people think like, you have like a little tequila brand and like, do you think people think you don't really wake up and work all day?
So many people think so many different things of me. At the luncheon that you saw in the last episode, you see me talking. Bravo can only air so much footage. Like they have so much footage. But in that moment, I'm saying people misunderstand me. I'm judged all the time. It's, it gets exhausting. And now I'm just to the point where I'm like, you can think whatever you want of me. You can think I'm who you think I am. I'm just going to keep being Lisa Barlow. I like Lisa Barlow. That doesn't mean I'm like a narcissist or in love with myself. But, a lot of people pay good money to like themselves and like seek out help. I've had a strong sense of myself since I was a kid because I'm one of 6 kids. You have to like step up, have an identity, or like you're going to drown. So I learned at a young age, be bold, say what you think. My parents were always open to that. And, you know, if people have a misconception of me or don't like me, because, you know, for some people, when you're really confident, it's polarizing for them. I've learned to think like, what can I do to help you? But I don't want to change myself for other people either.
I think that's a good way to be. I'm kind of the same way. I think it's polarizing. People love you, and then there's lots of people that hate you. And you're just like, I don't know what you want from me. This is just who I am.
Yeah.
But
it's better to just be ourselves, right? Let's just keep being us.
And like you said, it saves lots of money on therapy bills.
Lots of money.
Right? So did you watch Beverly Hills this past season?
Yeah, I love Beverly Hills. And you know, Kyle and I have a mutual acquaintance. And when she was launching her store, a lean-to, Kyle by a lean-to, we actually had our tequila brand there. And then we did an event with Lily Galici there. We did an event in the Hamptons with Kyle when she did her pop-up there. I introduced Meredith Marks to her team too. So she did a pop-up with her in Long Island. I think Kyle's great. I love Lisa Rinna, like love her.
Who doesn't love Lisa Rinna?
I just love that she's so direct, like, oh my gosh, amazing.
Have you heard from anyone, like, you know, now that you're on the Housewives, like if certain people reached out, like, good luck, here's some advice?
Yeah. Dolores did very early on. I really like her. Like, I mean, I'm a New Yorker at heart. Like I was raised in New York. I love direct, just tell me what you think. Let's get it over with, you know. So Dolores, I think, is amazing. She reached out to me early on. Emily, I love on OC. You know, Emily and I have a lot in common, like as moms, and I love Shane. I had a college roommate that grew up in Laguna, and they told me so many amazing things about Shane and how cool he is. They don't think he's anything like, not this season, but prior seasons, like what you see on TV. I think he's a really good person, has a really good heart. I think Emily is just so cool. I love how smart she is. She's sassy. She's got some bite. Like, I love that. And then Lisa Rinna reached out to me, and I loved that because I think Lisa's, you know, when a long time ago, like probably I just had Jack. I was in LA shopping at Fred Siegel, and Lisa Rinna was there, and she was just chatting me up. I was with my girlfriend, Emmeline, and we were working on this like clothing line that we thought we wanted to do. Lisa Rinna was in there and like literally was the nicest person ever, and so tiny and just so perfect. And you know, it's amazing. Like, who would have ever thought like we'd both be housewives?
You were just a shopper and she's just started talking to you at Fred Siegel?
Yeah, I was shopping at Fred Siegel's and her girls were so little. I mean, Jack's 16 now. Jack was literally 2 months old when I was in LA. So, wow. I mean, it's that long ago. But I remember, you know, people leave an impression on you. She was so friendly. And her girls were so tiny back then. I mean, they couldn't be more than like 4 to 7, maybe. I don't even know, but like tiny. But she was super chatty. Like in the kids section, I used to buy all of Jack's kid clothes at Fred Siegel or Kitson in LA. So,
what advice did Lisa Rinna, like what did Lisa say when she reached out to you now?
Well, it was just a nice DM, and she's like, "You're doing great. If you need anything, let me know." And I thought that was super thoughtful. I know she's so busy. I love that she's doing makeup. Her makeup is completely flawless. So I have an amazing team that I've worked with for a few years now that's consistently worked with me for a few years. And I'm always like, look at Lisa Rinna's makeup. And I actually think Dorit has amazing makeup too. Like flawless.
Flawless.
Yeah.
Flawless.
You know, in Utah, we have amazing hairstylists and makeup artists too, which is awesome. Like we're lucky. A lot of our Utah people end up in LA or New York, which is cool.
Well, listen, you got the DM stamp of approval from Lisa Rinna, so you must be doing something right so far.
I hope so.
How did you get involved with RHOSL?
So I do a lot of stuff in Park City. We used to own a restaurant in Park City. We haven't had it for almost 5 years now. I loved it. I definitely want to do another one. And I've been doing Sundance for like 12 years, 13 years. Outside of my own brand, I do pop-ups for other large companies. And one of my friends own a sick restaurant in Park City called Handle. And we have a lot of mutual friends. And her husband is really good friends with this guy, Jason, that worked for the production company. So they're like, hey, will you talk to these people? Megan called me and she's like, hey, will you talk to our friend Jason? They were looking at doing something in Park City. I was literally in the middle of getting a blowout. He calls Joey, this other gentleman that works for our old production company, was on the line. And I was getting a blowout. I ended up talking to them for over an hour. And I was in one of Lisa's sassy moods. Like, I was so sassy. And they're like, we have to talk to you more. We need to do something in Salt Lake. And now it was fast. Like, people think it took forever. And in my mind and in my time, like, I was not ready for it. Like, you'll see on the show, I thought they would show more of it. But, like, John went out of town. Like, this is in December. I talked to Jason and Joey. John went out of town in January, right before Sundance, and I decided, I'm like, I hate the one bathroom in our entryway. I'm going to rip it out. And then once I redid that, I'm like, we need to redo the whole house. So I literally had people here every day for a year, which is unnerving for my husband. And so when we got the call that we had the show, I'm like, well, my house is ripped apart. I don't even have a roof on half of it. And so I'm like, guess you're going to have to film in the hotel and in our house. So we were really expecting it. And to me, it happened super fast, from pilot to going into season, unbelievably fast.
Did you know anyone before? Well, you knew Meredith prior.
Yeah, Meredith and I have been friends for almost 10 years. We were set up on Bruce, we love you, because Bruce set us up, Bruce and David, in Park City. David knew Meredith well, Bruce knew me. Bruce has done Sundance events with his company that he owns with his brother for years that I've helped on. I mean, we all kind of grew up together, meaning in the event space. And Bruce is like, literally, I'll never forget where I was on the sidewalk on Main Street. And he's like, you have to meet my friend Meredith. She's moved here from Chicago. She is dying. She needs friends. And you two are going to be best friends. She was at the St. Regis. I was an hour late. She's a Sagittarius. Like, come on, Meredith, why are you on time? And I felt like stressed out getting up there. I sat down. She and I ended up talking literally till dinner time. And our birthdays are a day apart. So I'm the 14th of December. She's the 15th of December, both Sag girls. And we just had the best time. And I felt like it was instant chemistry. I went to jewelry shows with Meredith. I love having lunch and dinners with her. And Seth is amazing. The reason I am dubbed Mormon 2.0 is because of Seth Marks.
So tell me about that. I mean, you're Jewish. You were born Jewish.
Yep. I'm Jewish by heritage, never religiously Jewish, but my mom loves anything to do with Judaism, like the culture, the food, the concept of, better living. And I think Judaism is very close to Mormonism. A lot of people don't understand that the LDS Church has a huge amount of property right in Jerusalem. There's the BYU Center. And, most LDS people go make the passage to the Holy Land and visit it. So for me, I like being LDS, but I also like doing it my way. Like, I think we're all individuals, so we're not going to live a religion the same way. I respect all the rules, all the boundaries, but I also think I'm an individual, so I'm going to do it the way that works best for me. And I'm very culturally Jewish. Like, I love being Jewish too. I think a lot of people think I'm giving up on that, but no, I love being Jewish. I mean, like, my Jew genes are my best genes.
I get it. I'm Jewish. I'm not religious, so I totally get it. Cultural. I mean, I live in New York, so that makes sense.
Yes.
Why do you think people came to Salt Lake and said, we really want to do something in Salt Lake? Like, what is it about Salt Lake at this point? Like in the Housewives franchise that kind of breathes new life into it?
There's so many different things. Like, growing up in New York, I think Park City is like the Hamptons of the West. Like, if I'm in the Hamptons, I know in the winter I'm going to see all of my friends in Park City. It's so savvy. It's so sexy. We have the Sundance Film Festival that comes here all the time. Like, the Sundance Institute is here. People don't realize who actually lives here year round and part-time and what's happening here. Some of the biggest tech companies in the world are based in Utah, started and created in Utah. My best friends own a company called Vivid Home Automation. Snoop Dogg is the spokesperson for them. They're based here. I grew up with it. I grew up not with Andy, but knowing her, meeting her in college. We met at a physical science class and became best friends. And you know, they have sold 3 companies now for over $1 billion. And I think what people don't realize is it's, you know, there's Silicon Valley, but then there's Silicon Slopes, and I'm actively involved in it. And what they're doing is amazing. I mean, we have some of the best tech companies here, which brings in some of the coolest, most innovative people you can imagine. And I mean, the climate's amazing. Like, I love going home in the winter, but it's bitter cold. Like, John can wear shorts in the winter here. Like,
right.
That's always a draw. The weather is amazing.
So you obviously knew Meredith before, and now there's this question of whether you knew Heather, I guess.
Oh.
Do you really not remember Heather from college?
It's not that I don't remember Heather. It's that I didn't know Heather in college, and Heather didn't know me. Heather knows that, and she knows when I met. I mean, it's well documented. Like, and, you know, I mean, when you say something like, I have so much history, listen, like, Heather, I don't know why Heather's saying this, whatever. Heather knows when she met me. It was in 2017, January, when I introduced her to Meredith, and we did like a little pop-up together. Like, I mean, I had my tequila there. It was then Visage Day Spa, Med Spa, had like vitamin B shots, which were amazing. Like, everyone, I was sending everyone there, and Meredith had her jewelry and beautiful jackets downstairs. Like, I mean, it's well documented. I would never pretend not to know someone. And I have a very good memory. I remember a lot. Actually, you can probably tell the way I give details.
Yes.
I remember a lot. You know, it's, you know, watching that was so, like, disgusting. Because, like, actually the one party was on my real birthday. I wasn't dismissive of anybody. Turn off your sound and rewatch the footage.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you shocked? So, like, you know, you film this show, like, when you're in it, are you shocked? You know, like, when some innocent comment like that now becomes, like, a thing, you know, you're like, wait,
what's the innocent comment?
Well, like, I don't remember you or whatever. Yeah. Or even saying, like, oh, I don't remember. Like, listen, I've met certain people where I'm just like, nice to meet you. I'm not that person. And someone's like, we met before. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm the biggest loser in the world. We did meet before. Sometimes you just don't remember. You meet a million people.
For Heather, it wasn't about not remembering. When I'm sitting on the sofa with Jen and Meredith, when Jen says that, I'm like, what is she saying? What's going through my head is, what did Heather say? What is she saying? And I was like, I don't remember her from college. I don't know her from college. And the week before we started filming, my friend MB, who's my really good friend, and she grew up in Malibu. She married one of my best guy friends from a long time ago. And we're very close, like our kids are very close too. Mary Beth, the week before we started filming, was like, is Heather Gay really on the show? And I'm like, yeah. And she goes, oh my gosh, when we were in high school, we went to EFY at BYU or I don't know what the name of it was, but something like, it's an especially for you thing. And she's like, Heather was so funny. She would like flash people, like the other girls and stuff, like just to be funny. I thought it was hilarious. I didn't know, like, telling of this little story, innocent story, was going to become this big thing. And I never called her a good time girl. I said she was a good time. Now, after watching the show, I think Heather is a good time girl, and that good for her. Go Heather.
Are you, like, so far where we are in the season, are you, like, your edit, like, when you watch, are you like, okay, this is what I remember? Or are you just like, oh, you know what I mean? Just because this is your first time through it.
You know, I mean, you could put the show, like all the raw footage, in front of 5 different editors, and you're going to have 5 different shows, right? Totally. So it's their perception. Like, you know, that's something I'm constantly fighting, is the perception of me. I have the biggest heart. When I say something, I mean it. Like, when I say, oh, I love that, I genuinely love that. And you'll know when I don't like something, because I'm equally as loud about that. But, you know, they maybe in the first 2 episodes you had Whitney and Heather's perspective of me, because I'm not saying much. You get my Taco Bell order, and you know, you see me waking my kids up in the morning, and I loved my outfit on my birthday. So I'm like, you know, that's like, I'm like, okay, I love that. You know, I mean, they're telling it from 6 different people's perspective, and you know, maybe to Heather it felt dismissive. I remember that night completely differently. I wasn't the one being dismissive. And I think, like, I mean, look at the once up and down she gives me. It's a clear, like, up and down. And I'm like, I know I look good. I would look twice too. And like, it's, you know, for me, it's like, okay, you're going to come from me from that angle, whatever. I mean, they can say whatever they want. It doesn't make it true.
I've been so busy lately. I've been neglecting so many things in my life, and my hair is no exception. I don't even want to tell you how long I've been going between washes and trying out all sorts of freaking new products. But I had finally had enough of this, and I'm like, listen, it's time to get serious. And I hit the reset button with clarifying detox shampoo from Way. What I loved almost instantly about Way's detox shampoo was it felt my hair afterwards so luxurious, clean, refreshed. I honestly felt like I started to reverse the damage I had done. And I love the smell: rose, lychee, cedarwood, white musk, bergamot, yum. When you're ready to undo some damage, hit the reset button with Way Detox Shampoo. Go to THEOUAI.com and use code Velvet Rope to get 15% off your entire purchase. That's THEOUAI.com, code Velvet Rope. I am loving getting my fit on. Fit On is the #1 premium free fitness app. I originally turned to Fit On to help slim down, but now I turn to Fit On not only for my daily workout experience, but for personalized meal plans, advice from celebrity trainers such as Julianne Hough, Gabrielle Union, Lindsey Vonn. In the past 24 hours, talk about variety. I took classes such as The Taste of Zumba, Deepest Sleep Ever, and Kiss My Abs. Yes, and please. There's so much variety, and they're always adding new classes. I never get bored. Pilates, bar, yoga, kickboxing, cardio, strength, dance, meditation. And yep, all of this could be done right from the comfort of your own home. Join over 10 million people getting their fit on. Workout for free, anytime, anywhere. Text ROPE to 64,000 to join Fit On for free. Text ROPE to 64,000. That's ROPE 64,000. You guys know that staying youthful is very important to me, and that's why NAD plus supplementation is an important part of my health routine. Basis by Elysium Health is the most trusted source of NAD supplementation. Their product Basis is clinically proven to increase levels of NAD by 40%. As I age, which I'm not happy about, this is so important to me. Did you know that NAD is found in every single cell of your body, and it's responsible for creating energy and regulating hundreds of cell functions? But the body doesn't have an endless supply, and the levels decline as you age. Now that I take Basis, I have to tell you guys, I've experienced less fatigue and more satisfying workouts. I mean, it doesn't hurt that, Elysium Health has dozens of the world's best scientists working with them, and 8 are Nobel Prize winners. And here's a special offer for my listeners. Go to trybasis.com/velvet and enter code velvet at checkout to save 10% off Basis prepaid plans, as well as other Elysium Health supplements. Decorating a home certainly isn't easy. And I know, because I just bought a new apartment. Yep, I'm moving on uptown. And one of the places I turned was Jenny Kane Home. I turned to them to help me curate this new space and make it the space of my dreams. Jenny Kane Home has everything. I'm obsessed with their pillows, their throws, their candles. They also have great sofas, chairs, benches, beds. It's so effortlessly Californian. The Harbor sofa is so comfortable. It's inviting. It's amazing. And what I love the best is it's so minimalistic. It comes in natural linen, ivory linen, or my favorite, charcoal linen. Create the space you'll never want to leave at jennykane.com. Get 15% off your first order when you use code VELVET at checkout. That's 15% off your first order, JENNIKAYNE.com, jennykane.com, promo code VELVET. I know we have a lot of fun here and talk about reality TV and all the drama, but at the end of the day, listen, what really matters in our lives is our relationships, especially those with significant others. In times like this, more than ever, having someone you can trust and talk to is so important, but even the best relationships hit bumps in the road. That's why I find Talkspace so important. Talkspace Therapy gives you unlimited access to a licensed therapist, so you can clear up the confusion and focus on what matters most, being the best person and partner you can be. I mean, I'll be the first to admit I am not good at relationships. In Talkspace, listen, whether you're married for years or re-entering the dating scene or just trying to get comfortable with being single, talking to a therapist can really help. Join Talkspace today and start the journey to happier, healthier relationships. Just visit Talkspace.com and get $100 off your first month when you use promo code VELVET at sign up. That's $100 off Talkspace.com, promo code VELVET. I have to tell you about a new nutritional product that I started using called Athletic Greens. Now, I started taking Athletic Greens because I wanted better gut health, I wanted more energy, and I wanted to optimize immune system. Well, let me tell you, what I love best about Athletic Greens is it's easy. I personally didn't have, and never will have time for any nutritional product that is complicated to use. So here's the thing, Athletic Greens, you take 1 scoop and you add 8 ounces of water, and that's all you need. Also, the other thing I love about Athletic Greens, it actually tastes great and it's inexpensive. It costs less than $3 a day. Also, I love it. It contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, so there's no nasty chemicals or anything artificial. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/velvet. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/velvet to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. No, it doesn't.
No.
Like getting to know these women, like other than Meredith, like throughout the process of filming, were certain people like, you know, one way, and then when the camera started rolling, you're like, where did you come from? Like, did you notice people change once the cameras were rolling or you're filming a scene?
You know, absolutely. So I think there's 2 in particular that like put on heavy for camera. And I think people think it's Jen Shah, 100% not. Jen Shah is exactly how she is in person as she is on camera. When I talk to Jen on the phone and when I see Jen in person, it's the same person. I think like I forget cameras are around. I just like, I mean, there's days I don't even, like we're at a group setting and I'm like, how can I dodge the camera? Some people are like, the camera's over there, I need to be over there. And instead of letting moments happen organically, they mess things up because it's like, hey, we're talking about this over here. That's not happening. Like one instance is when we were at Prohibition for the 20s party, when I saw Jen, and I love Jen and Meredith, like Meredith and I consider her like family. When I saw them not connecting, I went over there because I wanted to comfort both of them. So many funny things were said between me and Jen that you didn't see that I think people would have perceived the situation differently. Like Jen had pretty makeup on and like got really into character, like Hollywood 1920s. And she was crying and I'm like, Jen, you look too pretty to cry, stop crying. And she goes, I do look pretty, don't I? And like, it was so endearing and cute. And then she literally called the waiter over and was like, I need another Vida Tequila. And I'm like, Jen, I love that you love my tequila, but it's time to switch to water. And she's like, okay, I'll drink water. But there was like all these endearing things that happened that you don't see. And then there's other people that are like, Lisa and Jen are talking, let me walk over there because I don't want to miss camera time. And that's annoying. Like, I mean, that's like rookie a little bit.
That is rookie. It's annoying. Eventually, the audience will tune you out. Like, that's the one thing, audience. And I do think the audience thinks it's Jen Shah. I completely do. I would agree with you that she's the one that kind of puts it on the most, but you don't, not at all.
No, I think that's 100% Jen. So you have to understand Jen's culture. And I hope on season 2, hopefully, you get to see more of Jen's culture. So Jen is Tongan. You know, it's awesome that we have our first Polynesian housewife on our franchise. And one thing you need to know about the Polynesian culture is they love big. They have an entourage around them all the time. Family's everything. And it's also, you know, if you hear what Jen, if you really listen to what she's saying at the luncheon with Mary, you really get to know who Jen Shah is. You really get to know her personality. I love her culture. She's used to fighting for things. You know, her dad came from Hawaii to Utah, and actually there's like, there's a group that helps other Polynesians with scholarships and finding jobs and building a life for themselves here in Utah. And Jen is really invested in that and a big part of that. Jen is super successful, but I think Jen and I are both fighters. Like if I were extreme, I would be Jen Shah. Like I always joke about that. Like Jen's like a very extreme version of me. And I love it. I think everything about her is authentic. Like when I watch her, that feels like Jen to me.
So then, listen, anyone that has assistants that are dubbed assistant 1 through 5 has, I will bow down to. And the Shah Squaw, love.
Yeah. You should have seen them at the premiere. Unbelievable with their bullhorns. And like my kids were like, Mom, Auntie Jen is crazy. In like a good way. They like it. Like they like how Jen is. Because it's like, you know, she's got this youthful side of her. And when you really listen to her at the luncheon, explain her heritage and who she is, she sums it up. Like you don't have to guess who Jen Shah is. She's telling you.
Well, that only leaves, it's not, there's you and Jen and Meredith. So that leaves 3 people. So who acts for the camera? Who plays it up the most?
Mary doesn't. I think Mary's really authentic too. You know, I think that Mary's also a preacher. So Mary's used to being in front of a crowd. You know, that's all I'm going to say about that.
Well, there you go. That leaves 2 people. Yeah. I mean, speaking of Mary, that was my question. Like, you know, people I think have this view of like, is Mary crazy or is this just Mary? Like Mary's authentic to what we see.
I love Mary's facial expressions. Like, I don't even know if I can move my face like that. Like she might give, what's his name? Who's the 80s actor in The Mask?
Jim Carrey.
She could literally give Jim Carrey a run for money. Like Mary's facial expressions, like literally I want to say something and say, insert Mary's facial expression here. This one. She's like super, I mean, Mary's Mary. Mary's complex. I don't know all the layers of Mary. I know what Mary tells me about Mary. And, you know, I also think Mary's like defensive and private and she's going to share what she wants to. And that's what you get. I think that I think just because of like her marriage and stuff, you get to see, I think she's used to being criticized. So she's defensive. And, you know, so you get to see what Mary's allowing you to see.
Is that really a big deal? Like, you know, I mean, the fact that like she married her.
No, is it conventional and like norm? No. Do I care? No, it wasn't an issue for any of us. Like, when you hear it, do you think, oh, that's weird? Yeah, 100%. It's weird.
I think it's weird, but not really. Like, I mean, I'm from New York. So to me, it was like, it's weird, but I didn't give it a second thought. Like now I was like,
it's not like no one's analyzing it. No one's tearing it apart or ripping on it. Like when I found out, I was like, oh, that's weird, but I didn't think about it anymore. I'm like, that's her life. It doesn't involve me. Like, marry who you want to marry. It doesn't have a bearing on my life. If you're happy, go for it.
Yeah. And like, at least for me, like when I saw this scene where like Mary was doing the sermon and I was like, oh, she's great at her job. And like now, like as soon as I saw that scene, I was like, I totally understand Mary. Like this all makes sense now. Like, I
think religion's complicated and, you know, like however, you know, you can dissect any religion, any relationship. It's theirs. It is what it is. She's honest about it. You know, I didn't think anything of it. It's not an issue for me.
How come you decided to join the show? Like, was it like tied to business, like Vida Tequila? Like, did you have any reservations in joining, knowing these other housewife franchises?
No, I think just doing Sundance for so long and being exposed to so much stuff, I understand what I'm doing. I understand that I have no control over it. I can control myself, my actions, my words. I feel like it's really natural. I don't know if that's okay to say. Like, I mean, I'm sure some people are going to be like, you think you're natural? I am. I'm 100% myself all the time. If you hate me, you probably really hate me. Unless I got a bad, like you didn't get the whole story. And then I'll come and show you why you should like me. But, you know, I think you have to have resiliency, a very strong backbone. And you have to have a lot of confidence to do something like this because you're shredded apart for every little thing you do. Like the things that people pay attention to are the things that I would never think twice about. Like me getting Diet Coke and getting Taco Bell. I love that. Like, no joke. Look, always. Like, And I think some people were like, oh, she's putting it on for camera. No, it's me. You're seeing me. I like that it is challenging me because it's really reworking. It's more complex for me because I am a consummate business owner. Like, we own so many different businesses, and you have to really manage your time well. I love being a mother. I had kids because I wanted children. I love being Jack and Henry's mom. They are everything to me. And I just think engaging them in the whole process and really managing my time, that's important to me. And that's been hard. It's very hard.
It is hard. Well, so you are involved in Sundance, so you are around, lots of famous people. So you're, like you said, you're used to all this. Do you think any one of your castmates did the show and decided to do it for like the wrong reasons? Like, I want fame.
I don't want to assume I would think 2 of them did it for like just fame and are like obsessed with fame. For me, I didn't go into it for that reason. Like, I'm proud of what I've accomplished. Like, I'm not embarrassed by anything. I've had wins, I've had failures. I work really hard. My whole thing is, if someone can say, I've gotten DMs, so I know that it's true. Like, if I can be on the show and someone says, Lisa Barlow can do that, I can do it too. That's great. You know what? Everyone should. If you're capable and you want to do something, you should go for it. And I think like that was my goal in doing things. This is like to show people like, you can do anything. You can be anything. You don't have to put yourself, even with church, I don't put myself in a box. Like, I'm like, I am me. I'm an individual. I'm going to do things my way. If you have a problem with it, I'm sorry for you. I'm fine. And I think for me, I wanted to go on and just be like, hey, if you're a mom and you think you should be doing a tequila brand, go for it, do it. Like, and I hope it's aspirational, not meaning like, oh, Lisa Barlow's so aspirational, but my journey is aspirational. And maybe it gives somebody else the confidence to go and do that themselves. Cause I think it's really important. I always want everyone around me to be their best self. It's not about Lisa Barlow. I want everyone around me to be the best.
Speaking of DMs, like, do you look at like online, I mean, I don't really know what anyone said about you. Like, there's nothing hidden in this question, but like you said, people are going to say horrible things about everyone. That's just how it works. Like, have you read all of that? Like, have you fallen into...
I lay in bed with John and we laugh at them. Like, when people send me the meanest things, like, I'm just like, you know what? I'll respond to some people and I'm like, trust me, I'm not worth your energy. You just wasted 5 minutes sending me this. Like, you're right. I'm not worth your energy. Like, don't pay attention. You're polarizing for people. And there's some people where I'm just like, are you having a bad day? Do you need to vent? Like, I like to see that. I like to see how people are perceiving me, because as interesting as it is that it bugs people, I like to be my best self. It has nothing to do with my religion. It has to do with who I am as a person. Like, I just want to try a little bit harder to be a little bit better. I always tell my kids, don't do anything you have to say I'm sorry for. Try to live your life where you're not apologizing to people and you're building people up. If think about it, am I going to have to say sorry for this? Then don't do it. And, for some people, it's so upsetting. Lisa wants to be perfect. No, Lisa just wants to be a little bit better and try a little bit harder. And it's called goals, and there's nothing wrong with having them. It's a good thing.
See, I'm shocked. I'm a Gemini, and I'm the same way. I'm shocked you're not a Gemini. Geminis are 5.
I'm a Sag Gemini. What day are you?
June 9th.
Okay, my sister's the 12th, and my best friend's the 13th.
Geminis are great. And this isn't like an ego thing. We're fun. We're very misunderstood people. We're like...
Yes. They're my favorite. I love Gemini, Capricorn, Sag, and Leo. And my husband's a Scorpio. My son's a Libra. And Henry's like straight up Sag. She's the day before me. But Gemini, I get you. I get Gemini. My best friend's a Gemini, and we've been friends for over 24 years. And we're so similar, where we like don't like to get in each other's way. We like to build each other up. She sent me a text message yesterday, and she goes, I took a call. Like, I had a big thing yesterday, and I told her, I'm like, hey, I'm going in on this. I got to hang up in a minute. And she goes, oh my gosh, you love me so much. She goes, no, anyone else would have sent me to voicemail. And I'm happy for her wins. Like, they own Vivint, and it's an amazing home automation company. And I'm always like, thanks for reminding me that there's more. Thanks for reminding me to set bigger goals for myself, because you just got a G6 and I need one of those. Like,
seriously.
yeah.
No, I get it. Most of my friends are Geminis and Sag. It's how it's kind of played out. Well, that's good that you don't fall into all like the online fodder, because it takes some people years to kind of get out of that and just they go down that dark road.
For me, it's simple. I look at it, everybody's feelings are based on experiences, right? So based on our experiences we create feelings and emotions, and we're triggered by those. So I might say, you might hear in episode 1, Heather saying, did Lisa just dismiss me? And even though I didn't, somebody that's watching that's felt dismissed is going to hate me. And I understand that. And I'm like, just keep watching. You'll like Lisa Barlow.
What about, because you watched some Bravo, were you ever a fan of Vanderpump Rules? Was that one of your shows?
You know what? It should have been a show that I loved. I don't have that much time, so I have to be careful what I'm watching. And let's just say John appreciates that I'm a housewife and loves that I like to watch it, but he doesn't watch it with me. So, like he wants to watch like Netflix if we're just trying to decompress. But Vanderpump Rules is interesting to me because we used to own a restaurant. So I understand it's like romper room, like honestly, like, wow. And, just being in the alcohol business and working with so many bartenders and restaurants and clubs and hotels, I know that all the people I talk to love Vanderpump Rules because they relate to it. It's like, I love yachting, so I love below deck. Like, I get it. I've been on the other side and I'm like, oh, that's how they knew I was on the deck at 7 a.m. and knew to bring my favorite cocktail. Okay, good. So I think it's like, cool. Yeah.
Below Deck is a good one. And
so good.
One of the highest rated of all of Bravo. It's just, people love it. It's a highly rated show.
We've had so many of our friends go on Below Deck just because it's fun. And we all love yachting. And, John and I went on an amazing yacht trip. We were on this super yacht in the Mediterranean a few years ago with our friends. There's nothing like yachting.
I was going to
water. You need to go on.
I was going to go on it. Like, my friend she got us in, and I was just like, well, there were two things. One, I really don't like the water that much. I'm a traveler. And two, it was all places I had already been. And I'm like, this doesn't excite me as just a vacation. Like, I've been a lot of places in the world. And I'm like, I don't want to go to these places, but I also don't love the water.
It's scary. Water's totally scary. Even if you're the best swimmer, best everything, it's scary. And deep water with like weird fish in it. Yeah. But I love yachting.
I mean, a lot of people do, and I love Below Deck.
The whole reason I'm working, honey, is like so I can spend my retirement, whatever that looks like, yachting.
I get it. What about, so like Vanderpump Rules, like, Katie Maloney and Lala Kent, like they're from Salt Lake originally. Like, I don't know. So there was this thing on the show where you, like, I forgot who referred to you as like the queen of Sundance, and now.
Oh, Jen did. Everyone pushes for me to feel that way about myself. I don't think I'm the queen of Sundance. I think I'm a really hard worker. I do amazing events with partners during Sundance. And, Jen calls me, if you want to go to an event in Sundance, you got to kiss the ring. But a lot of people, the reason people call me the queen of Sundance, like I don't call myself that, is because I'm really resourceful. If someone's like, if one of my clients is like, hey, we ordered these wraps on our vans and they don't look right, we need them rewrapped in 30 minutes, I can get that done. If somebody's like, hey, you know what, we just need to pop this up, we need a venue, I can get that done. I have pulled off many, many miracles in my 12, 13 years doing this. But I mean, I work hard. Like, I don't know if you call the queen, like, I don't know, whatever. It's cute. I think it's endearing.
It is. I mean, listen, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with Sundance. What about, like, because I don't know, like Katie said, well, I'm always at Sundance and I don't know who Lisa Barlow is.
Well, if she has to ask to get in a place, like, I mean, that's weird.
Lisa Barlow doesn't have to.
You have to know someone at the door to get in a place. Like, I think that's weird. And, she's probably not at the parties I'm putting on either. You'll see. Wait till the next episode 6, maybe even a little 7.
I'm not questioning you. I guess Katie is. I just didn't know if you had any response to Katie.
I don't even know what she said. I've had so many people say she commented. I don't even know what she said.
She said just like, I'm from there and I'm always at Sundance. And how is Lisa Barlow the queen? Because I've never heard of this woman in my life.
Well, she probably works with different people than I do. Oh, well, not everyone has to know who I am. She does now.
Yes, she does. She does now. Did you know? So did you ever know like Lala Kent? Like you didn't know.
No,
her?
but I think Lala Kent is beautiful. Like her face is just gorgeous. I'm like, when I look at Lala Kent, I'm like quintessential Utah girl, like flawless face. Like I think Utah girls are so gorgeous, and Lala is hands down flawless. Like her face to me is perfect.
Besides you, because you're into fashion, who has the best style, do you think, out of the Salt Lake City cast?
I'd have to say Jen Shah. I love the way she puts things together. When she walked into Mary's Luncheon, I thought, wow, Jen looks amazing. She's like so cute. Jen's creative with fashion, and I love that she's doing JXA in her own brand. I think Meredith has a timeless style. Like, she's, look, I'm wearing Meredith's jewelry. Like Meredith makes beautiful jewelry, I think, in different ways. Like Meredith's style is not mine. Mine is not Meredith's. Jen has such a unique style, but I think only Jen could do that. I think it's good. I'm just like, I'm a New Yorker. I'm like, as much as I love designer, I wear it very simply. Like, I'm like, some days I go outside and I'm like, oh my gosh, like if you looked at me, you probably think I'm wearing $50 in clothes, and it's not. Like, but I just like that super understated, simple thing. But I think everyone has a unique style to them. There's a couple people that I don't like how they dress, but it works for them. So, I mean, who am I to say who dresses good or bad? It's individual.
Well, there's like a whole show like Fashion Police that spent years with Miss Joan Rivers talking about who didn't dress well. So I think you have some right to decide who.
I think that, Utah, like there's a Utah style, right? And then there's girls that like get fashion. You can have your own style and not really get fashion. Like I can wake up in the morning and think, I'm going to carry this bag today and know exactly what I'm going to put with it. I never plan my outfits. The whole time we were filming, it was my mood. So whatever I woke up feeling like, I'm like, I'm going to wear that denim jumpsuit today with my Vautier boots. Like I literally, to me, it's like something you feel. It's not something you work hard on. It's a feeling, right?
I would get that.
All the girls on our cast feel it, or we feel the same way.
So who might need a little bit of help in the style department?
I mean, it's subjective, just like art. Like, watch the show. You tell me. I really want you to send me a DM who you think.
I will. I have thoughts on who's the best dressed on the cast.
And I think Mary buys really cool pieces, and she has a very unique way of layering things. And I think Mary busts out some killer looks. Like, I know she took heat for that green dress. In person, I loved the dress. And she was wearing this amazing Louis Vuitton jacket that she has in Kelly green and I have in blue. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I like the way Mary put it together. In person, I liked it much more than how it translated on camera. Because everyone was like, why do you love Tinkerbell dress? And I'm like, I love Tinkerbell dress. And then when I saw it on camera, I'm like, you're seeing it differently than I did. I get what she was doing. You couldn't tell that her tights were mint green. You couldn't tell that she had Kelly, like the same shade of green and a darker color Louboutin shoes on. You missed that. But I got it. I was like, I get what she's doing here.
And it's Louis I love Louis. That's one of my, what about from like other franchises or like other people in the Bravo world? Like, is there anyone whose style you're just like,
I think Lisa Rinna has a killer style. I think underestimated 2000%. She's always classic, timeless, chic. She has the hottest little body. I would dance naked every day if I had her body. My kids would hate me, but I would do it. And I think like if you really look at Lisa Rinna's style, it's like so like just well put together. I think Lisa Rinna has a great style. And Dorit Kemsley, I love her style. I think it's absolutely beautiful. She's a little more logo-centric than me. There's nothing wrong with that. I think Jen, if Dorit was extreme, she'd be Jen Shah. Like I got Jen Shah from the personality standpoint. She's got it from the fashion because Jen is very logo centric, like beautiful Gucci suits, like Gucci on Gucci. I think Dorit dresses beautifully. I think all the girls on Atlanta bring it. every single one of them. Like watching them at a dinner party, I'm like, wow, there's $1 million.
Well, that's how I feel when I watch Dorit. I actually went to high school with Dorit, but that's...
You did?
We'll have to talk. Yes, I grew up between New York and Connecticut. We'll have to talk in DMs about that, but that's a whole nother story. But I look at Dorit's outfits and I'm like, there's like $50,000. There's like,
yeah, no. When people were questioning how much Jen spends on an outfit, I'm like, it's not hard. Like, you know, one of my friends made a joke. I was crying. She lives in Park City. She's so funny, very smart. Used to like do deals for Goldman, young too. She's in her 30s. She's like, oh my gosh, if I were on Housewives, she's like, Todd's like, what if her husband's Todd? What if the girls come for you? And he's like, oh, she would just say, one of my outfits is as much as a Draper house. And I live in, one of my homes is in Draper. And I started laughing. I was crying. And I'm like, it's true. It's really true. Like the Birkin's 500 grand, you know, the limited edition skin. You're wearing 500,000 in jewelry. And then you add on that beautiful couture runway dress that was 45,000. I mean, Sutton can do it. Like, I mean, it's not hard. You know, if you have great pieces, great style, couture, it's not hard. Yeah, it's amazing.
What about Vida Tequila? Like, I would assume the show can't be bad for that, right? It's like free.
You know, it's been so fun for our brand. Actually, I'm going to show you. I've got my beautiful Vida here.
This love
one
it.
Says go away. I love this bottle. I helped design it. I really wanted to put my fingerprint on tequila and do something that's like the way I feel Mexico is, the way I see Mexico, modern, chic. When you're walking down the streets of Mexico City, there's like a pulse that you can't replicate. And to me, I'm like, that's Mexico. I mean, we have to pay homage to this amazing country that makes the best spirit in the world. And, you know, traditional tequila bottles used to be tall and skinny, and then they went to the short, squatty ones, which is what we initially launched our brand with, and recently relaunched with this whole new bottle. It's extremely expensive to rebrand, redistribute, buy back old bottles. But I really was like, we have to do this. Vida means life. This is representative of the life of so many people in Mexico. It has to be timeless, chic, bold, iconic. And I feel like we really created this. This is 900 grams of crystal, every bottle, even the ones that are our basic bottles. And then we have the decadent ones that are like totally over the top, Swarovski, crystal, embellished. And, you know, I want to have fun with it. When I look at our bottles, I want to see Chanel 1988 through 92 on a bottle and really bring my love of fashion into tequila. And if you're watching what's happening in Mexico City, it is on point with everything they're doing. The best glass comes out of Mexico City for all brands, like Baccarat, everybody. The best glass for tequila, for liquor brands, for even your windshields. And then when you look at what's happening down there and how chic Mexico is, Mexico is the best food, the best everything. And they're cultured and they're worldly. You can be in Paris and see more people from Mexico than actually, you know, than you would think. And I just think this is my fingerprint on tequila in a way to show the world, like, don't look at Vida, look at all tequila the way it should be. It's chic, modern, elegant, and you can't make it in your bathtub. It's an art to make tequila.
Would you ever expand into like other liquors, or are you just like, and do you drink anything else?
We're working on it right now. So we love mezcal. So that's an art to make too, and it has to be done right. Everything I like to touch has to be great. Like, I really want to make sure, like, if we're introducing a spirit, you're not going to get version 1, you're going to get the best version. And like, Vida is so delicious. It's award-winning, amazing. We're working on a vodka right now. I'm a tequila girl, though. I love tequila, but we're doing an amazing vodka. I have amazing stuff. And then we own multiple brands in Mexico. So we don't just own Vida, we own other brands. Vida in Mexico is Vida Feliz, because Vida means life, and you can't trademark that down there, but we have it under Vida Feliz in Mexico. Same bottle, same delicious, delicious tequila, but, you know.
Well, I mean, I am a little bit of a tequila girl, mostly a vodka girl, so I'm ready to try your vodka as soon as it's, well, you know, it's the best thing to drink for calories, vodka and tequila. Those are the two.
Yeah, absolutely. And tequila's an upper. It's the one spirit that's an upper. So if you're depressed, drink some tequila. And like, don't mix it with your meds, though. And then I just think it's a skinny girl drink, too. Like, you get it. Like Bethenny was dead on when she said that, you know, tequila, soda water, and fresh lime juice, that's very healthy.
You should probably, I mean, you'll probably hear from Bethenny the more this, you know, you talk about Vida on the show. I'm shocked you haven't.
You know, I hope I do. I think she's amazing. I'm proud of her. Like, honestly, I love when people are successful, and watching what Bethenny has done in such a short period of time by herself, she is nothing but impressive. And you cannot be Bethenny Frankel without that bold, iconic personality. I think she's very witty too. Like, love it.
And all really from Housewives. I mean, you know, smart, intelligent, great idea, and like she took it. Like she's brilliant, but like look at what a platform this show can do.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I'm grateful to be a part of the Bravo family. I've loved every step of the experience. It's not always easy. It's hard, but it really pushes you to go outside your norm and be, you know, your best self.
3 final questions and then we'll wrap up, I promise. What was I just going to ask you? What do you think the biggest misconception about you is, just in what we've seen so far? Like, do you think you're...
I'm a bitch. And you know what? Being a bitch doesn't make you a good boss. I'm not a bitch. I have a backbone. I have a strong personality. You know, I always tell my kids, the bad truth is better than a good lie. I would rather hear the bad truth. And sometimes I'm giving the bad truth. That doesn't make me a bad person. It makes me honest. And I would much rather have the honest friend around me than the liar. Like, if I look fat, tell me I look fat, because I'm going to go change. Give me the opportunity to change. And, you know, that's probably the biggest misconception. And I also think people think when you're strong, you can love yourself without being in love with yourself. I really like myself. And that's not a narcissistic thing. I think it's a good thing. It's called healthy. You know, you can't love other people. You can't give to other people if you don't love yourself. I'm not in love with Lisa Barlow. I love Lisa Barlow. I care about myself. Yeah, if I don't, nobody else is going to. Take a look at this group of girls. Like, no one's asking me how I'm feeling.
No.
I don't need them to, though. I really don't need them to, but they're not asking. And they expect a lot without giving anything. So, you know.
There's a certain type sometimes that's cast for Housewives that it's me, me, me.
Oh, me, me, me. I'm not like that. I would rather give than get.
Are you and Whitney over? Will you ever get over Whitney, you know, saying that you...
I don't think about it. Is that bad? Like, I mean, I'm going to be totally honest. I don't care. You know, like, I've never called Whitney a swinger. You know, whatever Whitney thinks is happening in reality are two different things, and it's not my problem. Whitney has to... You know, when I saw the trailer for the first episode, I immediately texted Whitney, Winger, I called her, like, Whitney, Winger. Like, I immediately texted her and said, Whitney, I don't think you're a swinger. And she goes, I can't believe they aired that. And I'm like, I can, because you said it. Like, you said it, so you created the life for it. I have never accused Whitney of being a swinger. Like, I don't even care. Like, I think it's weird to accuse someone of calling you something. Like, even when she's, who knows, like, where it started and where it ended up when we saw it. But when she's sitting there talking with Heather, I don't know what she's talking about. When she's like, they say they must be so close. I have no idea what she's talking about. I'm like, I've never had that conversation with you. I know exactly what I said to her, and I know exactly what our follow-up conversation via text was, and it was positive. I was like, I like what I see so far. Whitney, I think Whitney, when Whitney finds her own identity, I think Whitney will be a much happier person. I don't think Whitney knows who Whitney is yet. And I think the fact that I know who I am is like upsetting to her. And so when she figures it out with her, and that everything I say comes out of like the big, legit, like a big sister, I want the best for people. So when I say something, it's not to hurt you, it's to help you. And when she figures that out, maybe, I mean, we don't have any history though. Like, Whitney and I didn't come into this like best friends. We didn't have any history. I had seen her once in my life before we started filming.
You feel like saying to her, like, Whitney, you're in a fight with yourself. Like, this is, where did this come from?
It's a lot of projecting, I think, for both her and Heather. Is it bad? No, because maybe they're going to learn something about themselves and understand more about themselves. It's like, it is what it is. It doesn't impact me though. You know, for a minute I was like, okay, that's ridiculous, and I'm over it.
Do you run into them? Like, is Salt Lake that small? Like, I mean, I know that's such, I mean, I've been there, but I know that's such a New York question. New York is small, but like, do you now run into these people? You don't want to?
I don't. I mean, we have such different lifestyles naturally. We all live in different parts of Salt Lake County. And, you know, I mean, it's such a homogenous place. And I think because of the Mormon church and, you know, people go to church and then they move and then they make friends in another area. So, you know, we don't run into each other. I'm sure if I wanted to try really hard, we could figure out how to make that happen. But we just live our lives so differently that, and it's not a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It just is what it is. Like we all work, we all have kids, you know, and we go out in different places. Like at this stage in my life, I love like lounging and going to like, you know, I don't want to be at a club until 5 a.m. I appreciate it. And there's times when I want to do that.
Yeah.
But, you know, most of the time, John and I are going out to lounges or beautiful restaurants for dinner or Taco Bell. Like,
yes. Are you prepared for like when the world is like open, God knows when that's going to be. And, you know, you're going to be in an airport, you're going to be wherever, even in Salt Lake, people are going to say, there's Lisa. Like, are you prepared for that in person?
Yeah, you know, we're busy. John and I have been busy for a long time. So, you know, just owning alcohol brands, when we go to restaurants, most of the time they carry our product. And so we're used to people knowing who we are. Right. I mean, I think it's going to be new for my kids because like they can be naughty sometimes and the whole world is going to know when Jack and Henry are naughty. And like the other night we were out to dinner at a restaurant and the lady in the table behind us is like, that's Lisa Barlow. I heard her and I'm like, kids, chill out. Cause like they have their cousins in town to go skiing and they were crazy. My kids were completely inappropriate.
Right. Someone will be like, sat next to Lisa last night. Her kids were doing this.
Oh, I'm sure. And I told them, I'm like, you heard that lady say that, like, chill out. And Henry's like, wait, she's watching me? Like, then he wants to be extra. And I'm like, oh my God, Henry. Like,
you're like, yes. Was there anything, and then we'll wrap up this last question. Is there anything that you know, we may not have seen it that you regret from filming, like anything you would have done differently where you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that. This is going to become a huge thing.
No, you know what? Everything I said in the moment I meant. Does it mean I think that all the time and still think it now? No, I'm respectful of people. I'm respectful of myself. I am myself. So I'm just being myself. I don't know. You're not going to see everything because they can't take, you know, 70 hours of Lisa Barlow. You know, you see me 8 minutes every Wednesday.
Right.
So there's, you know, unless like, I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I'm comfortable with everything I've said and done. And, you know, I'm just myself. So if you think I'm inappropriate, I'm probably inappropriate.
Well, I don't think so. I mean, you know, as someone that does this, I speak to a million people from Bravo. So I'm not just saying this. I love Salt Lake. I'm loving it. So
I love that.
This is not just kissing up. I think it's like a great addition to the franchise. I think it has legs. So I really appreciate you taking your time.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you so much for all the support too, because, you know, it is hard to do this. And, you know, it's people like you that get the word out about who we are, why they should watch. So thank you so much for taking the time too. It's awesome.
When you come to New York, we're doing drinks.
Yes.
You can bring John and whoever else you want.
They usually, I'm surprised they're not joining in. If you give me 1 second, John will come say hi to you. I just heard him walk in the door.
He should come say hi.
I'm going to, hold on. He will love it. I was doing a podcast a few weeks ago and he hopped on and I just love John.
We should have a hi from John. And you should tell your colleagues they need to come and chat with me. Meredith, I know. I have a mutual friend in common with Meredith, actually.
Oh, amazing. Jen should for sure too. Hold on, John just walked in.
Okay.
John, I need you. Come here.
Did John and like your kids, did any of them have any reservations in you joining the show?
No, you know, my kids have been around stuff their whole lives. Like Jack grew up like, you know, we're in Beverly Hills and walking down the street and Dwayne Johnson, the agent's like, Barlow's, you know, he's like a good friend of ours. Like, no, I think they love it. I think for Jack, some things were a little complicated. Take off your jacket and then come in. I think some things were a little hard for him because he's 15 and his friends are going to see that he loves his mommy. And so he would act like a little different on camera. I'm like, you love me, get over here, hug me. You know, learning how to drive on, you know, international TV. He had his permit for weeks.
I was scared. I didn't hear him say pull-out game because I was worried I was gonna die. Like, I was nervous. And you just see one part. We live on a mountain. So when Jack is driving up a mountain with lights in his face, cameras on the side of the car, and he's a rookie driver, he was terrified. And Henry's like, go, go, go. I mean, it's a lot. And I think Henry loves it. He literally was like, Mom, can I film with Jen Shah on Friday? And Jack is getting it. But I'm excited for people to get to know our family because they're exceptional kids. I'm their mom, so of course I'm partial. But like, they've loved doing deals their whole life. They created an amazing business. You're going to get to see what they did. I know a lot of people think, oh, it's Lisa Barlow's business. No, it was 100% generated by our children. We own, co-own a company with Nikki and Brie Bella, and they saw what we were doing with them, and they wanted that too. And they're like a little consummate moguls. Like, they have been around business their whole life. They know all of our lawyers' names. Like, they know who to call if they get in trouble.
Wow.
Like, yeah, so it's good. Okay, you gotta see John. John, say hi.
Hello.
My baby.
How are you?
Hey, nice to meet you.
Oh, and here's Kendall.
And the dog.
Say hi, Kendall.
It's like a family portrait. Wait, let me take a screenshot of you guys.
Kendall, come here.
How's it going? We just had a lovely chat. Nice to meet you too. Thank you for letting us chat.
Our dog is going crazy. She's like, people.
She's like, what are you doing? Have you gotten used to doing all the media and stuff yet? Like, are you just like overwhelmed? Or because you've done it for Sundance and whatnot?
Me or
both
Lee?
of you.
No,
Both of you.
You know, John is an amazing public speaker. Like, if you ever see John host a seminar or a meeting, he's amazing. So I think he's used to that. And let's just be clear, he knocked doors for the LDS Church for 2 years. Like, if you can do that, you can do like anything. You don't really want to be on the show, like, but
yeah, well,
he'll do it for me.
It's called Housewives for a reason. It's not the house husband show.
No, but you know, like throughout history, lots of house husbands have their moments.
Yeah.
Like, I told Lisa, you know, like on the blogs, like people are already saying like you're in the running for one of the hottest house husbands of Salt Lake. I don't know if you know this.
They're all very kind.
I'm just telling you what's going on out there. So that's kind of the word.
I just want to make sure that I don't embarrass Lisa. That's my
like
top,
2 rules for
priority.
him. I'm like, any scene you film with me, he broke it the very first time. Like at Henry's birthday party, I'm like, do not ever joke about it.
But I recognized it immediately, apologized after filming left.
I got some diamonds.
Told her that I wouldn't do it again. So
yeah.
So wait, so that's the rule? Don't joke about sex?
Yeah, because like John has like a dirty personality, like a little bit. Like he's a boy, and
I joke about sex.
Yeah, and so I was like, just don't do that on camera. And I'm like, you know, don't make comments about stuff we don't do because people will assume when you say that, like it's real. Like, so don't make jokes because it's like funny to joke about. But I'm like, I don't want people thinking I do that because I don't. And that was like 2 things. I'm like, don't make those jokes. Like he thinks he is very funny. And so,
I think I'm funny. Yeah. Lisa doesn't think I'm funny.
Not always.
Our boys think I'm funny.
Listen, his Rolex got thrown out of the window for a reason. You'll see soon.
I can't wait. Well, and that's the thing. Like you joke about something or you say like you don't do something, then just people deduce, well, you must do the following 3 things because you didn't list those. You know, it's like.
Exactly. So,
well, the show is great so far.
I know.
He's too tall for the camera.
But you're fitting it. And we saw the great artwork in the background, so I'm glad you got to join us. But when you come to New York, we'll have to really do drinks.
I would love that.
Sure.
I would love that. We have to, for sure.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. I'm really very simple, too. Just give me a lounge and just give me a drink, a vodka or a tequila, and I'm fine.
You're good. Yeah. We'll stick with vodka for you because we know that's what you like.
Well, when I'm with you, I'll drink Vida Tequila.
I love it.
We have to support the brand.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. You'll have to come back on like towards the end of the season and we'll do like a How Have You Changed?
Okay, let's do it. I'm in.
So love you both, Lisa and John Barlow. Everyone will follow you. I'll see you guys later.
Okay, bye.
See ya.
Bye. Thanks for listening to yet another episode of Behind the Velvet Rope. Because without you listeners, I would just be a crazy person with voices in my head. And if you like what you hear, subscribe on Apple Podcasts under Behind the Velvet Rope. And when you're done subscribing, feel free to leave a 5-star write-up review, because the write-up reviews actually count. We read each and every one of them. We post the best ones, and the reviews really help our shows keep going. And we really appreciate everything you guys say, especially the positive ones. And if you want to find us online, we're at Behind Velvet Rope on Instagram. We are at David Yontef on Instagram. We're Behind the Velvet Rope on Apple Podcasts. Or head on over to Patreon, because you know what? There are just some things we can't talk about here. So for our bonus episodes, go to Patreon and type in Behind the Velvet Rope. And if you still aren't sick of me and you want more David, go to Cameo and book me on Cameo. And you can ask me anything there. I'll answer whatever you want. And I have a bargain basement price of $10. Thank you guys. See you soon.